Hey, good morning. It is April 23rd, 2024, and today is your next Hampton Roads market report update. And I just wanted to come on here and thank you for actually watching yesterday's report while we broke down exactly what has happened in the marketplace over the last 7 days across Hampton Roads. Now we're going to break it down today, city by city, because I kind of want to go through some of the information that you want to see in this video a little bit more in detail because luxury real estate, according to CNBC, is at an all-time high. They put a report out today. We're going to talk about that report. And then I also want to talk about what I've seen from Redfin. We have two different particular arguments going on in our real estate market right now. We got luxury real estate at an all-time high, and we'll break down what luxury real estate looks like, how that compares by markets and all that. But then also, we have a survey done by Redfin where 40% of homeowners say if they had to purchase the home that they have today, they would not be able to afford it. So we're going to break down all that information and more. But also, I want to break down city by city in Hampton Roads exactly what is going on with what our average home price sales look like in each one of those communities out of the 7 cities. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Not going to waste too much time today. If you with us before, and I appreciate you coming back again. So let's get directly into our video today. So we're going to start with the 7 cities, and you will see here out of the gate, we're going to start with Chesapeake. The average bedrooms in Chesapeake is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,000 square feet. List price $405, and you're seeing they're selling for about $408, $921. So about $409,000 is what you're seeing in Chesapeake on average home sales, which is about $202 per square foot, or 101 over asking sold price. Okay, so then we'll head down to Hampton, which is on the peninsula side of Hampton Roads. You'll also see this is an average of 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,600 square feet. Average list price is $294. Average sold price is $295, and you'll see the price per square foot is about $189. So there's a significant decrease there. So that you already can see that there's a bigger jump in living on the peninsula side than living on the south side of Hampton Roads currently. And we'll get into the details about that if you really want to get into dive into the weeds of it. But in Newport News, also on the peninsula side, you got another 3-bedroom, 2-bath average, 1,769 square feet. So slightly larger units in Newport News versus Hampton. But you already know, like when you're going further out of a city towards more rural, not really rural, but further out of the city, the bigger the units are usually going to be. In this particular case, that's what's happening with Newport News. You'll see that the average list price is $323, average sold price is $325. Okay, so $325,706. And it's about $185 per square foot in Newport News. Now in Norfolk, you'll see that we have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,651 square feet. And we actually have a list price about $350 back on the south side, and actually closed price is $348. So this is the first one that we've seen out of so far what we talked about across the 7 cities where homes are listing, but they're not selling for more. Okay, so this is actually great information to have as you're paying attention to what the market is actually doing. And this is all happening in the last week as well. So we're seeing about $348,000. $12, which is about $210 per square foot, taking place right now in our marketplace. So that is very interesting to pay attention to. So now in Portsmouth, you'll see we are on the south side again, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,400 square feet units. $239,000 is the average list price. $239,000 is the actual average sold price. So you're seeing about $165.65 per square foot in Portsmouth, Virginia. Now over in Suffolk, you're saying that the average units are 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2,300 square feet, and actually over an acre lot is on average. So you're seeing about $470,000 list price, $462,640 average sold price. So that's about $194.36. You're getting about 99% of the full list price actually captured in sold prices. So that's pretty interesting. Suffolk is actually the city where I think a lot of growth is taking place right now. And with all that growth happening, what we're starting to see is that builders are slowing down. Builders are having a lot more inventory sitting out in the market right now, so they don't want to continue to overbuild like they did during the Great Recession, and they got caught with their pants down and had to hold on to so much inventory and really had to dilute themselves or basically give homes away for free. And basically they're holding the line on how many homes they're going to have in inventory, and until they sell these units, they're not going to even think about building more and liquid and putting themselves in a liquidity standpoint that they had before. So that is pretty interesting that we're seeing Suffolk actually have a slight lower average sold price compared to list price. But that means that there are deals to be found and had in Suffolk, Virginia right now if you want to live in that area, okay? And then you have Virginia Beach, our last city on the south side, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 1,899 square feet, so 1,900 square feet. You definitely know you ain't getting a big lot in Virginia Beach, and then that's about 486,000 is the average list price. Average sold price is $487,000. So you talk about a $248 average square footage for each sold listing, and it's about 101 oversold the list ratio. So those are our actual um 7 city breakdown of what's going on with the average sales prices. Comment down below which one did you actually find more interesting over the others if you live in Hampton Roads, and comment what city you live in while you're down there as well too. Let's talk about what CNBC talked about today with actual luxury real estate. This is actually something that I really want to talk a bit about here because I found this article a little bit surprising, to be honest with you, that we're seeing luxury real estate at an all-time high. Now, a bit of that is actually I should say we saw it on our average sold prices. A lot of these homes in these areas now are like 400,000 plus average sales price. Well, in Hampton Roads, I've with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the 7 cities in Hampton Roads average luxury real estate price mark is 500,000. So basically, if you was to go to Suffolk, Portsmouth, Norfolk, Newport News, or Hampton, and you actually was looking at buying a house that was 500,000 plus in our market, that would be considered luxury real estate. Now, if you go to Virginia Beach, that's 670,000. If you go to Chesapeake, it's 530,000. That's where the range starts for it to start to be considered luxury real estate. So, hearing that, I mean, if you start looking at the average sales prices, most people are already if they're purchasing at those price points, they're already pretty much close to that number already, or at that number if they're purchasing in those cities that they want just the average home in those communities. So I wanted to look at this article here with you guys. Robert Frank from CNBC published it. So let's just read through this here, and I kind of want to understand what their feedback is on this, but let's look into it. It says real estate is increasingly a tale of two markets, a luxury sector that is booming and the rest of the market that continues to struggle with higher rates and low inventory. Overall, real estate sales fell 4% nationwide in the first quarter, according to Redfin. Yet luxury real estate sales increased more than 2%, posting their best year-over-year gains in 3 years, according to Redfin. Real estate experts and brokers chalk up divergence to interest rates and supply. With mortgage rates now above 7% for a 30-year fixed loan, most home buyers are finding prices out of the reach. Affluent and wealthy buyers, however, are snapping up homes with cash, making them less vulnerable to high rates. This is very, very true. Like, we are still seeing cash is king in our market right now. Most buyers are getting qualified about 350. I think the average buyer that I see in our marketplace right now that I work with is actually getting about 350 to 375 as a pre-approval range, or it's not even what they are pre-approved for. They can probably be a pre-approved for more, but they don't want the payment. But they also don't have the cash and liquidity that they need as well to go up that much higher to cover the closing costs for the higher fees. So I think cash has proven paramount in this marketplace. And it's really interesting what's going on with cash. I'm surprised there's so much cash going on in this market right now. I don't really know where it's coming from. I think people have either multiple jobs, they invested well during the pandemic, Bitcoin, crypto. I think all those things play a role in this, but it's really interesting how people are actually being avoiding having to take on mortgages and actually just paying for homes outright in cash. Nearly half of all luxury homes defined by Redfin as homes in the top 5% of their metro area by value were bought with all cash in the quarter, according to Redfin. Nearly the top 5 of their metro area by value were bought with all cash in the quarter. That is crazy. That is the highest share in at least in at least a decade. In Manhattan, all cash deals hit a record high of 68% of all sales. Wow. 68% of all deals were cash. That is crazy in Manhattan. Wow. Okay. So the flood of cash is also driving up prices at the top. Median luxury home prices soared nearly 9% in the quarter, roughly twice the increase seen in the broader market, according to Redfin. The median price of luxury homes hit an all-time record high of 1.225 million during the period. People with the means to buy high-end homes are jumping in now because they feel confident prices will continue to rise. Where the Redfin agent in Seattle says where the median luxury price sells for 2.7 million, which is crazy. They're ready to buy with more optimism and less apprehension. So I think out of all of this, I think the main thing that I take away from this article, which I mean, it's a great insight into luxury real estate being at an all-time high. But what I take away from this article is that basically people are starting to understand that the market is settling. Like, and this is what I've been trying to communicate with the viewer, with clients, and people who are even prospects at this point, is that the marketplace is starting to settle quite a bit, actually, to be honest with you. I mean, 7% interest rates are high, and I do think that has leveled out the playing field a lot more too. So if you're a buyer in the market, you really are a buyer in the market. If you're a seller in this market, you really are a seller in this market, and you're just not putting your feet in the water to test the water. You're all in. And for those who are not all in, you're finding out that you're going to be beat out time over time over time over time. And the reason why that's important to note is because of the simple fact that when you talk about these things, I've seen where people I talk to on the phone go, man, I've been beat out by this offer. I've been beat out by this offer. I've been put an offer in on this. And if somebody comes in over 60,000, 50,000 over asking, or 20,000 over asking in cash or guaranteeing the cash. So these things are starting to happen in the marketplace. So I feel like you have to be all in if you're going to be all in, or you have to understand that the marketplace may not be directly for you right now. And that's okay if it's not. But if it is, then you have to take it by measure and understand the playing field and be educated on what's going on in this market. Now, with luxury real estate means to me that it doesn't mean that you're having marble floors, or that you are getting basically the top end amenities. It means that the value of the homes have just appreciated so well over the time that now they have been classified as luxury, because the luxury price points are at certain levels in everybody's marketplace. So your marketplace may be different than my marketplace, and it may be a little bit more. You just seen that Seattle says that the average luxury real estate property sells for about $2.7 million. So, I mean, it just depends on your perspective of what your luxury real estate market looks like, and if you even need that much home, or you need that type of quality of a home. So I think all-time highs right now shows us that right now the marketplace really is settling, and that we are still seeing people being being very transparent and going on getting in on properties that they really want to take advantage of and being in the marketplace with, and properties that are trash, they're not dealing with those right now. And I think that's what we're seeing. Home sales are down, home prices are falling just a bit across the entire United States, not in Hampton Roads, but across the whole United States. And I think that's what we're going to continue to see, that luxury real estate is going to be where the value is at right now. And that's not surprising at the least. Now, I do want to talk about our next article here, which I found interesting by Redfin as well, that they published today actually, was that nearly 40% of homeowners couldn't afford their home if they were to buy it today. Now, I'm interested in understanding how they feel about this. So let's dive into it by this article by Dana Anderson. Many U.S. homeowners couldn't afford to buy their home if they were to purchase it today, because home prices have doubled over the last decade, and monthly housing costs are at an all-time high due to elevated mortgage rates. Nearly 2 of every 5 homeowners, that's about 38%, don't believe they could afford to buy their own home if they were to purchase it today. So let's see here. They say definitely could afford. Okay, what's the question? Let's look at that. The survey question says, if you were looking to purchase a home, do you think you could afford a home like yours in your neighborhood today? Definitely could afford it was 20%. Probably could afford it was 21.5. Might or might not be able to afford it was 19.9, so 20%. Probably could not afford it was 19.6, and definitely could not afford it was 18.4. This is according to a Redfin Commission survey of roughly 3,000 U.S. residents conducted by Qualtrics in February 2024. This report focused on 1,988 respondents who indicated they are homeowners. The relevant question was, okay, we just talked about the relevant question. Nearly 3 in 5 homeowners, 59% who answered this question, have lived in their home for at least 10 years. And another 21% have lived in their home for at least 5 years, okay? That means the majority of respondents have been seeing housing prices in the neighborhood skyrocket since they purchased their home. The median U.S. home sales price has nearly doubled in the last 10 years and has shot up nearly 50% in the last 5 years alone. Home prices have soared over the last decade for several reasons. Already, high home prices skyrocketed during the pandemic when remote work and ultra-low mortgage rates motivated many Americans to move and buy homes. Even before the pandemic buying boom, home prices were increasing due to a prolonged supply shortage, along with a strong labor market and a growing population pushing up demand. Rising mortgage rates are another reason many homeowners couldn't afford their own home if they were to buy today. The typical person purchasing today's median price home for $420,000 has a record high 2864 monthly housing payment with a 7.1 mortgage rate. The current 30-year fixed rate average. If they were to purchase a home for the same price with a 4% mortgage rate, which was common in 2009, their monthly payment would be $2,210, roughly $650 less. Rising home prices are a double-edged sword. On the one hand, Americans who already own homes benefit from rising values, and they can consider themselves like they broke into the housing market while they could still afford it. On the other hand, price appreciation makes the prospect of buying a new home daunting or even impossible for many who want to move. Prices have risen enough that a similar home and location would be much pricier than a home someone already owns. Even accounting for inflation, added elevated mortgage rates to that equation, and moving up to a bigger, better home is even more costly and perhaps out of reach. The fact that buying a bigger, better home or even a similar home is financially out of reach for so many Americans is the driving force behind the mortgage rate lock in effect. Nearly all homeowners have a mortgage rate below today's level, contributing to a shortage of homes for sale. The situation is especially dire for first-time home buyers who haven't built up equity from the sale of a previous home. Nearly 40% of U.S. renters don't believe they'll ever own a home, up from 27% last year. Of the Gen Zers and millennials who do expect to buy their first home soon, more than 1/3, 36%, expect to use a cash gift from family to help with their down payment. Baby boomers least likely to be able to afford to buy their own home today. This makes sense, but let's listen to it. Broken down by generation, baby boomers are least likely to be able to afford their current home if they were to buy today. Nearly half, 45% of baby boomers said they couldn't afford a similar home in their neighborhood now, compared to 39% of Gen Xers and 24% of Gen Zers and millennials. That said, that stands to reason, as baby boomers are more likely to have bought their home a long time ago for a much lower price. That dynamic contributes to the shortage of homes for sale. Empty nest baby boomers own twice as many large homes nationwide as millennials with kids, largely because older Americans with no financial incentive to sell are hanging on to their homes. Unsurprisingly, lower income homeowners are least likely to be able to afford their own home today. More than half, 51% of respondents earning under $50,000 annually wouldn't be able to afford their home, compared to 34% of people earning $50,000 to $100,000 and 21% of people earning more than $100,000. Okay, so this article actually breaks it down a little bit in detail. I do have my own thoughts about this and have my own opinions about some of the things that they talked about in this article. I do think the 10-year period that they discussed, basically for people who have owned their homes since 2014, are in a way better position than the ones who purchased their home in the last year or two. and still seeing prices skyrocket. But if you bought your house anytime during the pandemic, you still made a killing right now, especially if you have a 2 to 3, hell, even a 4% interest rate. You are seeing the marketplace do you quite well with skyrocket prices around your neighborhoods. So, I mean, of course, I think the marketplace has changed dramatically in the last 4 years. If you're going back 10 years, it completely has changed. I bought my first house 10 years ago, and that house is worth over double what it was before. So when I purchased it, and that's crazy to me because it was built in 2001 and we bought it in 2014, and then the person behind us sold it and it's doubled in price since then. So either way, what I wanted to say is that, I don't think this article takes in consideration that people who are moving are people who have to move, right? If you don't have to move, you're like the article said, people don't have the incentive to move. So they're just holding on to all the real estate that they're getting because they have these nice low interest rates on them, and they probably put a tenant in there, and then they got somebody else paying the mortgage, and all they having to do is cover the taxes. And really and truly, this is the way things should be. This is what capitalism is right now. So when people tell me 40% of people couldn't afford their home if they would have bought, that's why you lock in the rate today. That is why. That's why you get a fixed rate on a house that you purchase, so that way you don't have to deal with what happens from the rest of the world. Okay, you're insulated. Now, if the interest rate comes down below the interest rate that you have, you refinance to the lower interest rate if you so shall to. I mean, it's your choice. So to me, I think the marketplace is in a great area right now. And I think that it's unfortunate, though, that we don't have a lot of affordable housing going on around the marketplace anymore. Or if it is affordable housing, people who need affordable housing don't want to be in the neighborhoods that affordable housing may show up and be accommodating to. So I think it's just, you got to understand where you're at. You got to start somewhere. And those are why I think those are important conversations to have with an agent. So I got to go. I appreciate y'all for being here. If you find value in this content, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and hit us with a like as well, too, please. And we're going to continue to do this each and every week for you going forward into the foreseeable future. So we'll be back tomorrow again. And we'll crank another one out, talk about what we've seen is going on in the marketplace, and answer any questions that you may have. So if you have questions about the Hampton Roads market, definitely leave them down below as a comment, and we'll answer every single one of your questions. We read every single comment, and we comment back every single time. And it's me answering every single comment and question. So go ahead and do that. If you're looking for an agent in the Hampton Roads market, go ahead and hit me up. All my information is down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Y'all stay safe. Peace.